last week we traded gold and it totally blew through the trap. So that would have been annoying, to say the least. It would have been annoying. Annoying is the word. So here's what happened today. I try to test, even if we don't have a room, if I can. So I use the exact setup, full size gold, 40 and 75. First I thought no fill. Now, you got to look at gold. It's trending downward this morning, and it had been trending up earlier. Thought maybe there was a chance it was going to try and make a new high, but that downward trending. So here comes the first fill. The initial move was down, so I let it fill. I'm always expanding stops on trap trades. If I think there's any remote possibility that we're going to get a reversal, I'm not going to allow a stop out on the first move on the trap. I'm just not. I'm totally willing to accept the size of the loss versus what I think is a high probability reversal. Gold, it really did not look like it was going to make the low at this point in time. The news was bullish. It was good, not bad news overall. It wasn't monster bullish news. So I was a little bit concerned gold might keep going down, and I just closed it out with a small profit. It did a small reversal. Had I not had the trade room, I probably would have had a little bit more profit because I would have stayed in longer. I didn't want to come into the room in the middle of a trade. All right, let's go over to oil because that's why we're here. But it's an inconsistent report. Nothing's going to change that. And it's been an inconsistent report since the day I got here, 9 years ago, more than 9 years ago. All right. You can trade it, but sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. And it's not going to work on a regular basis, and you probably won't get stopped out on a regular basis. You'll probably not make much money on it either over time. No, I want to trade the best of the best moves, like NVIDIA. I don't even want to talk about NVIDIA today. I'm happy that a bunch of people made some good money, but the absurdity of what happened on our data feed is beyond the beyond. It's just beyond the beyond. And it's just something you have to accept if you're going to trade fast moving events with prop accounts. That's all it is if you can accept that, then what happened yesterday is no big deal. You just accept it. And you have to have more than one account. If you have only one account, it's going to cost you too much. So I would recommend you have at least two accounts. One, so if you blow up an account, you
According
have
to
another one
a
to
senior
trade.
Iranian official, two sources, reaching
And
deal
that way,
framework
you don't,
possible if the US seriously separates nuclear
you're
and
not
non-nuclear
unable to
issue.
trade if something crazy should happen with data feeds or whatever. All right. I'm
And
probably
the
going to
senior
make a
Iranian official
video.
says
I'll probably
talks
make
with
a
the US
video
and
about it.
Geneva have been intense and serious.
Let's go to oil. Yeah, I agree, Calvin. Those are rookie numbers. I mean, how many? I'm just curious. The people that are here this morning, if you're a prop trader, how many accounts do you have? Just type the number. How many accounts do you have? All right, let's go to oil. TJ, wow, you've become a maniac. All right, that's not even a maniac. Uh, just accounts. funded or eval. Combine them. Combine them. Makes no difference. No difference. Nidden. Wow. I'm surprised so few. I'm surprised. But that's very good. That's very good. It goes against probably what most people do. Okay, Frank. I'm aggravated because I want to find a company with bonds. Lucid doesn't allow bonds, or I would have had a Lucid account this week. I need to trade bonds. We need to trade bonds. Calvin 11, okay. Francis Cash, got it. Nothing wrong with that. Our oil is CL 426. Oil pretty bearish this morning, but it's way up off the low, or nicely up off the low. So I think oil can move in any direction today. Chantal, any comments you want to make about the oil trade? Feel free. So I'm going to put my reverse continuation. I'm going to watch the YM. I'm getting tired of the markets. The markets always seem to be making new highs when we get here in the morning. The YM, I should say. All right. Trading cash is real trading. Trading prop is it's playing games. It's real trading, but it's unbelievably ridiculous at times. But it's just the way it is. So you just deal with it. Oil. So we're going to put a reverse continue on the chart like we do every morning. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. One position, 20 tick target, 20 tick stop. We rarely use this. Rarely use it. Calvin, you have 4 cash accounts? 20 and 20. 20 target, 20 stop, one position. Label it CL reverse continue. And I'm still working on that number 37 prop account. Been trading it most of the week. Pretty flat most of the week. Had some winners, had some losers. So number 37, just for info, number 37 has 50,128 in it. It liquidates at 48,218. So if I get down roughly 2,000, that account blows up. It's very mildly profitable. Very mildly profitable. Calvin, that would be so
Iran
expensive,
Foreign Ministry
though, in
spokesperson says talks with the
fees.
US to
Those
resume
fees
at
are going to
5:30
kill you.
till 6 Geneva time tomorrow.
No? So account number 37, we have our reverse continuation on oil. All right. Let's take a look at oil on a 15-minute chart. So oil definitely very negative today. However, it's pulled off the low. I definitely prefer to get filled short this morning. Am I going to control that? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see what the next few minutes brings. Now it went up from
Surely
60.
expecting comments from
It's
Feds
gone up
Myron
almost
speaking
90
in a
ticks
TV interview.
in the past hour. 90 ticks, not even an hour. Those are pretty good fees. But IB, you must have a lot of money in that account because IB doesn't have good margins for day trading. But you don't have to tell us. So number 37 is where we're working on this morning. Then we have our original, our OG oil trade, the trade that I love with all my heart and soul. I love it with all my heart and soul. Just checking on our stream. Something's wrong. Oh, it's me. It's always me. Stream looks good. Okie dokie. So our original oil trade, our OG oil trade, Chantal, what happened on your oil trade yesterday? And are you still here? Did you get stopped yesterday? You were long. We were short. We got stopped. And I believe I might have gotten stopped because my stop was too small. And then long, it did enter long, but I don't think it followed through. But I didn't really check, so you got to tell me. So I'm going to put on our original trade. And I guess no one's trading silver anymore. Good morning there, David. No one's trading silver anymore except for Nitin. Loading our original oil open. TJ, I know it was disastrous. It's a very difficult instrument to trade. It's very hard. It's very hard to trade an instrument. Well, the volatility when you were trading it was extreme. And it's very expensive. So it's easy
Feds Myron
to
says
blow things up.
over-regulation of banks harms credit creation.
So we need oil new open. Oil new open. Oil new open range is what
So
I'm
Feds
looking
Myron
for.
currently speaking on Fox Business.
Yeah, I saw that. What time was that? What time was that? Why metals? I mean, I looked at gold yesterday. I mean, gold was seemed like it was its normal volatile self. And I did
Feds
not
Myron
look
says
at
banks are
natural
over-regulated
gas
and that harms credit creation,
yesterday.
a big supporter of Bowman's agenda.
226 on today's date on oil. So our range trade starts generating the range at 8:59. 9 o'clock 0040 we end the range. Target of 8, target of 20, stop of 15, and BE minus 4 if it hits my first target. Now, ticks above the range, ticks below the range. I don't really want to be filled long on
Feds
this
Myron says
trade.
have not
I
seen
don't think.
anything worrisome yet in private credit despite bumps.
Let's say you want to try and outsmart
And
the
further
market,
saying private
which
credit
I
is not
really
yet
don't
worrying
want
from a
to, but
macro
let's say you
perspective.
want to. And you don't want to be filled long as easily as short. You can make the ticks above the range higher. So it has to go more ticks to fill you. And that possibly could give you more time just to move your orders out of the way if you don't even want to take a trade in that direction. Or you can also, under optional, use the direction button and just tell the software which direction you want to allow a trade in, both or long or short. All right.
Fedsmarin says monetary policy could offset impact of credit card caps.
All right, so our oil, we're all set up. YM, going to set up my YM magnet like we do most mornings.
Myron says labor market data has been quite a bit better, but it's too early to sound an all clear.
High of day, low of day. Proximities on 3.
And Fedsmarin says do not think the US has an inflation problem now.
One of the Fed governors is speaking, I believe, looks like. Position 1 is a 1, -3 on the ticks. And then let's take a look at the YM before we do anything else.
Fedsmarin says AI will be profoundly disinflationary.
I'd like to set a stop of 40. Let's see, and just remember it can be moved.
Fedsmarin says prices right now seem stable.
Magnets on the YM, depending on VWAPs, levels, etc. So right now I'm just trading one position for 3 target, 3 ticks before the magnet, and then I'm putting a second position 10 ticks above the magnet.
Fedsmarin says on food prices, notes that you can always find outliers.
All right, and the account I'm using for the YM is my funded account. One of them, labeling it YM
and
Magnet.
Fedsmarin says, I think we need to cut rates by about 8% this year.
So this account needs some work. It's doing well. So not work, it needs more money. It's up. What's it up? 1,700. So we'll keep working on that. Apply it. Okay it. Put the chart trader on that account. When you turn on your magnet, you get your orders, right? Now, I don't think the YM's going to drop 100 points and put us in short. Anything is possible. Now, if we fill
Fedsmarin says, do not know why
just,
AI, along with
we've been
destroying
so
jobs,
close
will not
to the
also
levels
create new jobs.
these mornings. Now, you can wait if you want to. Wait till the market opens before you take your first trade if you want to. We've had nice trades taking the early morning trades. Now, the one thing I do like to do is I do like to protect profit. meaning if I get my first target to fill, target one stop move, I like to put it break even. If it takes us out with a small win, such is life. Not a lot of profit because we're so close to the magnet this morning. We're so close to the high already. Now, I am going to put a YM reverse continue on the chart. You can also do it from within the magnet, but I'm going to do it this way. And we'll do a 35 target and a 35 stop for a discretionary trade. Label it YM reverse continue. And we're in that, everything goes in the same account because we're on one chart. All right. And then we also have our RTY for later. Do I ever use break even plus? Yeah. You mean like break even plus 4 or break even plus 5? Is that what you mean, David? So a lot of times if you don't have a lot of profit and your first target is not that big, my target one stop move will most often be break even minus. But on a lot of earnings trades, if you have like a 30 target one, then you might do a BE plus 5. It really just depends on how big the trade is, how big the target is on target one. That's really what it matters, what comes into play. I do have an RTY setup we've been using in the mornings now. Let me make sure it's on the right chart. Yesterday, I did not have it on the right chart. You know what was unbelievable about yesterday? The market open on the MNQ was one of the most spectacular market open trades we've ever seen. I think I'll make a video for the weekend on that trade. It was so crazy. So RTY, I have a reverse
US
continuation.
effective federal funds rate unchanged at 3.64%.
And we'll do a 35 and a 35 on that. 35 target. And I am trading the RTY in my MNQ funded account. Label it RTY. Reverse continue. And let's make sure we're on the right. Yesterday I was on the wrong chart.
Broadcom expects to sell at least 1 million.
Here's our oil range.
Broadcom expects to sell at least 1 million 3D stacked chips by 2027, according
And
to
then
an
I
executive.
will set up my RTY open
And
trade.
Broadcom
So
ships
I'm
new
ready.
AI chip to Fujitsu and plans a wider
Load the
rollout.
template.
So furthermore, Broadcom ships
Order submitted.
3.5D
Oil looks like
face-to-face
it's going to
compute
fill
SoC
short,
powering AI revolution.
which I would prefer. It doesn't mean it's going to work.
Order
I'd
submitted.
rather get filled short on oil. And an RTY range, 929.50. Now the stop, tiny bit above the range might make sense. RTY 929.50, 6 ticks above, 6 ticks below. Show the graphics on chart. This will be my last oil trade ever in my whole life. 930.10, end of the range. I give up on oil, really.
Order filled.
It's a trade that stinks. I hate this trade. Should we have put the stop above the VWAP? Maybe. Maybe. But the minute you get in, and I really did prefer a short. I really did. And hang on. Let me finish the RTUI. Two positions, target of 12, stop of 25, and it's a range trade. And it's in number 54. Now the YM would have filled this morning, and I didn't turn it on because I was doing RTY. And I kind of wanted to wait a little bit longer this morning on the YM, but it looks like it's going to work. Momentum's picking up on the YM, it looks like. A little bit. Not a tremendous amount of volume. So the RTY is ready. We'll just let that do its thing. Now, on the YM, I like getting filled a little bit closer to 930. I know. I say never again, always. Oh, let me see if I can fix. I don't think I can get the RTY in the YouTube stream. The problem is that you can't see oil if RTY is in it. Let's try that for today. Let's try that for today. Yeah, I don't know if that's worthwhile or not because you can't see oil now. Now the question is, I think oil
Order submitted.
is a negative. So I'm going to take a short on the last oil trade I'll ever take. The last oil scalp. And I may move my stop above the VWAP on oil. But the real difference between what I was going to say is, real trading. I wouldn't trade that oil trade in a cash account. I wouldn't be trading it in a prop account. We talk about this all the time. You take so much more risk that you would never take. I mean, it renders all intelligent rules and thinking so often null and void that it becomes silly after a while. And it's a big issue that I don't know. I don't know. People don't want to talk about it. So on this oil trade, I'll move my stop. Right now, I'll move my stop to break even minus a couple of ticks. Actually, you know what? I'll put my stop right now just above the range. If it decides to go back above the range again, that will take care of me on oil. I think it should continue down. Now I'm going to shrink that oil chart. I need my MNQ chart. Excuse me. I don't have enough room for my MNQ chart. And I want it in 2 minutes. So if I grab a couple more ticks on oil, I'm going to exit my oil trade. I want my chart. Magnet on the webinar tomorrow. Now, YM, if you did enter, it probably will test the high. Probably will go test the high. I want my chart. Give me my chart. I refuse to take a loss on this trade. Well, I'm going to use that chart, so I don't need to shrink it. I'm going to use that chart. YM, just what I was thinking, that it might fill that magnet early and not follow through yet because it's a little bit early.
Order filled.
Okay, so oil, I'm done for the moment, for today, for this morning. So oil, we can get rid of those setups. They're just taking up space now. Put the chart on MNQ 0326. And for the moment, we'll put our usual done forever. Tomorrow's my last day on that oil trade. Not doing it anymore. We voted last week not to do it anymore. MNQ. Now, strategy, put a couple of contracts on the chart, reverse continue on the MNQ, target of 40. Markets are not like super volatile this morning. 75 on the stop. MNQ, reverse continue, we'll label it. Apply it, okay it. So we have our first trade set up for the MNQ. And let's set up our regular trade, right? So let's load our template. MNQ new open, it's called. It's not really new anymore. And then we will stick around for natural gas this morning. MNQ new open, right click it, we'll date it today, 2/26, right? Load it, 9/29/59, bracket of 35, target of 35 and 100. 35 and 100, break even if it hits the first target, and 160 on the stop, going with a bigger stop on the MNQ. Today looks like a good magnet day on the MNQ, really, for a high of the day. YM, if you hung out in the trade, you just got your magnet to work, all right? Okay, I didn't take the trade. I need to have my head examined. All right, let's go back to finish setting up the MNQ. Breakout 9/29/59 trigger, 35 on the bracket, 35 target, 100 on the target, 160 on the stop, break even on the target one stop move. Put it in the market open MNQ account. All right, it's labeled already. Before we put it in the account, let's check the bracket in sim with a time of 0. And we'll also turn off the vertical line on entry under optional, setting the time to 0 just for a moment.
Order submitted.
All right, nice brackets.
Order canceled.
I'm going to test it again. What I like about the MNQ is we could test PP is a great magnet this morning. High of day is a great magnet. We got a lot of close levels that'll probably get tested this morning. High of day, low of day looks really good on the MNQ. Or high of day PP looks really good on the MNQ. So our breakout.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
Market's getting busier at the moment. No wonder I'm not hearing my streaming news. Put our time back to 9:29, and we'll put the trade on the right account. Make sure our chart's on the right chart. So our MNQ is ready to go. I like to put a magnet on the MNQ, especially right now. And I'm just have it to generate signals. I don't have to do anything except turn it on with magnet trade enabled set to off. And that generates my signals, lets me watch it. I'm definitely not trading it from the magnet this morning. I'm just watching it for signals. Now the YM, I missed the winner. So I think what I'm going to do is there's a YM range open. So I may look to do that on days where the magnet triggers early and you don't always have a second magnet trade. It's nice to have another option on the YM other than just a reverse continue, which this morning, that's really all I have on the YM, although you can do the same thing on the YM. Now, it's too close to do a high of day, low of day magnet, but you can watch signals on the YM also. And let's say you get a signal you like, just use your reverse continue to trade it. Now, RTY, I want to check, make sure that my RTY, see, I didn't label it properly. So that's why it's so important to label your trades. RTY open. Just says news trader. I don't know what that means. RTY open. All right. It's on the right account. It's a range and we're triggering at 929.50. 6 ticks above, 6 ticks below. End the range at 930.10. 2 contracts for 12 ticks with a 25 stop. And let's make sure it's on the right chart and right account. And it is. So we should see everything properly. Now, I don't have interest in taking a signal on the YM before the open.
Demonstration purposes only.
All right. So I'll be watching my MNQ carefully. Yesterday, the MNQ opened, we got along, and it just kept going and going and going and going. I'll make a video of it. It was pretty hilarious. It was great. It was the first time in a while that we got a trail, 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 trail. It just kept going and going and going. So there was really no reason not to take the YM magnet this morning. I mean, what's the only reason you don't take a trade? What's the only reason you don't take a trade? What's the main reason you don't take a trade 90% of the time? Fear. Fear of losing. Then maybe analysis, right? Maybe analysis is the number 2 reason you might not take a trade. But I think fear is the number 1. It's the number one factor that influences trading more than anything else, I think. So I'm just going to put our webinar up, put the link for tomorrow. All right, YM nice and bullish. MNQ, it's a little bit negative at the moment. So I don't know if anybody saw that snowball fight in New York. Snowball fight in New York. That was assault. That was not people having fun at a snowball fight that got out of hand. They were picking up big pieces of ice chunks and throwing it at the cops. So the mayor needs to get his head out of his butt. I was not in it. No, I was not in it. John, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Just looking at all the video they had. I mean, a snowball fight's a snowball fight. Picking up large chunks of ice, though, that's not a snowball fight at that point. That's what I saw on video. And if people get hospitalized, it's probably not a snowball fight, right? It wasn't kids. I agree. I agree. Assault is a crime, is a serious crime, especially against the police. The police have a hard enough job these days. It's brutal. There's a lot of really good cops. There really are. And it is a brutally difficult job in this day and age. Brutal. Yeah. I mean, Arthur, I totally agree. It wasn't a snowball fight. It was assault. And it's time to call things what they are. We live in a world today where no one is willing to call things what they are. And that's really, really crazy. YM, did anyone take the YM magnet? Anyone take the YM magnet, the early one? Look at this YM. Darn. I mean, good. Rather have the markets go up than down. I would. All right. Couple of minutes. We got 4.5 minutes to go. This is the magic 5 minutes before the open where we have sometimes seen a bit of extra movement.
Pentagon sent Anthropic a final offer for use of its AI, according to CBS.
All right, just hanging tight here.
CBS say Pentagon sent Anthropic an offer on Wednesday night.
All right, folks, we're just watching. Nothing to do yet. At 9:30, our MNQ brackets will show up a couple of seconds before, a second before. And why am I just watching? Because I missed my trade foolishly. I let fear get control of my emotions and just didn't go in when I should have. So I'm being punished now by the market because it would have been a winner. So I could lie and say, oh, the analysis, but I'm telling you the truth. I got baby feet. I should never look at what's in that account. Just trade it. Now the YM has made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 or 8 new highs.
One minute remaining for the market on open imbalance.
So soon we'll get a range starting to draw on the RTY.
Ten seconds.
There's the range. It goes through the open.
Order submitted.
Here's our
Order submitted.
MNQ filled
Market on open
short.
imbalance.
Order
S&P
filled.
Hit the
500
first
buy side
target
285 million.
Order
Nasdaq 100
filled.
buy
and
side
hit the
36 million.
second target.
Order
Dow 30
submitted.
buy
It
side
looks
80
like
million. Mag 7 buy side 19 million.
RTY hasn't filled. Looks like MNQ hit the first target. Yeah, it hit the first. I've got to change that trade. I have to change that trade. Looks like the
Order submitted.
RTY wants to fill short. Like to see a burst down.
Order filled.
Okay, RTY, nice winner. Oh, look at the MNQ. Gonna go test that low, don't you think?
Nvidia shares fall 1.3% at the
Order
I
market
think it's gonna
submitted.
go test that low. It's probably gonna do it without me though. Maybe just a little scalp.
Order
I'll just
filled.
take a little scalp there. Okay. Um, YM, we missed it. I mean, I missed the trade. Let's be honest. I missed the YM, the
We
magnet.
posted the article on the feed for those
So
interested.
the thing to do is take those. We've been taking the early YM trades all
Salesforce,
the
which once
time.
again
So
grew
I don't know why I let
4.5% after
myself
Q4
worry about it
results.
this morning. But I don't want to lie. I want to tell you the truth. The only reason I didn't take it is because I got worried it was in a funded account. That's the honest truth. So that was silly. And you know what? Did I trade it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Now, I don't I don't jump instantly on signals right at the open. It's those are high risk signals. And very honestly, it isn't working right now. You would not have entered. Remember, when you enter with a signal, it's the candle after the signal. So right now you'd be losing. You'd be stopped. So, because it's above the high. You have to let things breathe a little bit most of the time. Most of the time. Sometimes, you take a risk and you win. Sometimes you take the risk and you don't. Now, let me just turn off our MNQ breakout. That's gone forever for today. So I don't need that setup. And the RTY open is gone today. I'm so glad that I invented this RTY open. So glad. If I hadn't thought about this RTY open, I'm lying. It's Roz's
Treasury Future
trade. So
Investment says
everybody
Swiss
thank
bank
Roz
Lember
for
has
the
a money offer
RTY
ban
open, which has
activated by
really
Iran.
worked every day this week except yesterday. So just to recap, we had a winning MNQ, a winning MNQ scalp, and a winning RTY open, and nobody traded the YM. Nobody traded the YM.
Nvidia shares down 1.7% after Q4 results.
And the MNQ, there it goes to test the low. I told you the MNQ looked like nice magnets this morning. Now, I think there should have been a signal there. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Oh, no, no, had no change in momentum. There wasn't a change
US
in
listed shares
momentum
of
off the
Baidu fall
VWAP.
5%
Okay.
after lower Q4 revenue.
So there's the test of the low on the MNQ. John, you're saying on the early trade, the MIM did not follow through? Is that what you're saying? Or did you trade it at a different time? What size stop did you use? I think your stops, well, before I say anything, how big was your stop? 52. So I think that's way
The
too
Treasury
small a
proposes a
stop on
war
the
developing
MIM.
bears support to
I would
Iran
at
and
least
Russia.
double it. That's a $25 stop. It's 50 cents a tick. I think that that's asking the market to take your money. It's too small on the open. On the open. It's like on the MNQ, the smallest I'm using is 75, and I'm using 160. Now, it's not the open, so it's not as volatile. But the other thing you want to look at, and today was not a great day, is levels. If the VWAP is nearby, put your stop under the VWAP. But just in general, a 52 2 tick stop on the YM. It's only $26, so it's very small on the MYM. And then that, wow, that NAS really decided to sell off. Really selling off. And the YM, relentless, relentless to the upside with the RTY. What's interesting is our RTY was a short winner. It was a short winner.
UK 5-year gilt yields fall to the lowest since September 2024 at 3.722%, down 4 basis points on the day.
Just watching quietly right now. RTY, I bet. Now, obviously, I'm sorry I didn't put a magnet on the RTY. Because beautiful signal. It would have possible
UK 10-year gilt yield falls to the lowest
mediocre
since December
fill,
2024 at 4.279%, down 4
80
basis points on the day.
ticks, 80 tick possibility there. YM signals I would not have taken. All right. No high of day, low of day signal on the MNQ or VWAP because momentum was all in one direction. Our spec does
EMEA falls
not
to a session low,
enter
down
when
as much as
everything's in one direction.
3.1%.
On those opens, Francis, that MNQ is really choppy. It's really choppy. Now, I was actually thinking about a signal here. So this candle is an entry candle, and then your stop has to be maybe 20 ticks below the low. My gut feeling is this probably is going to be a good signal. Now we do have oil, so I'm going to go heat my coffee. I'm not going to close the room or anything. We'll just watch for a bit. Let me just make sure nothing is on that endangers us here. So we just have mostly our reverse continuations. But you do want to label everything.
UK 20-year
Like
gilt yields fall 4 basis points on the day to 4.964%,
RTY
the lowest
magnet
since
should
April
be labeled
2025.
properly. MNQ should be labeled properly. Now the YM probably gives a good short here, right?
Treasury yields
Because you've
edged
made a
session lows as
whole
technology
bunch of
shares
new
slowed.
highs for the first time since it made a new high since 9:15. No, for the second time, I should say. It's only the second time it's had 2 negative bars in a row. Did anyone see the video of the donkey and the little girl? That's all I need to say. The donkey and the little girl. Anybody see that video? I don't know why that video went in my feed. Was that unbelievable, TJ? Oh my God. If you didn't cry after seeing that video, you're not human. If it's true, if it's true, it was something else. It was like a donkey that supposedly this little girl helped to raise this donkey. When I was little, we used to call it a donkey. And they hadn't seen each other for a very long time, I guess. And the donkey was just going crazy. It was really something. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I try to avoid animal videos because there's so many of them. If you watch one animal video, the whole rest of your life you'll be inundated with animal videos. They'll never stop. It's like it just becomes so unbearable. Let me heat my coffee. I'll be right back. Okay. Anyway, so that YM signal, it was a good one. Two very nice RTY signals. Very nice. A nice mediocre MNQ signal. Off the low, it is a correct signal. That's what I'm always looking for. Correct signals. One of the things we look for, it's not in always, but one of the things is a momentum change on the bars of the squeeze. Test of the low. And we did that. We tested the low. We changed momentum. We got the signal. If you would have entered at a pretty lousy place in a fast market, you're going to enter in a lousy place. This was not much profit. And you could say it stopped you out right over here. Okay. Now you have to think hard about taking that signal too. We had a pretty hefty sell-off at the open. I might have been more inclined to wait for a little bit more new lows, a few more new lows before jumping into that long. On the other hand, when you look at the YM signals, just to talk about these signals for a minute, because they are part of the new software, and signals are discretionary. Why would you not have taken these first two? Well, that's simple. The first one, we don't take signals generally 15 minutes from the open. That's just a rule. Don't take signals that close to the open because you may not have enough time to be in a trade and make money. And then I generally will not take a trade 1 minute after the open. That's crazy. The big thing I'm looking for is multiple high
According
after
to the president,
multiple
China
high.
to send letter to China today
Then,
on ports.
when you get a change in direction, it's a good opportunity. That's why this signal was a good opportunity. It was also sitting at support that I don't really
The video
trade
shows
around very
stainless
much,
lowest down
R2,
at free spot
but
3%.
it still failed to get to R2, and it was a good signal. Your stop would be above the high, 10 ticks at least. Okay? That was a great signal. I do recommend when the software, like Monday, when everybody starts getting the software, dedicate one account to
Gilts rally,
signals,
30-year yield falls 5 basis
maybe
points to 5 spot
dedicate one
0%,
account to
lowest
magnets, or
since
you could dedicate one account to magnets and signals. That would have been easily a 100 tick possibility. Easily a 100 tick possibility. That was a great signal. And it had all the earmarks of a good signal to take. Multiple new high after new high after new high after new high. Remember, what we're doing is probabilities. What's the probability that our decision's going to be right? So what's the probability the market's going to stop making new highs after it made one new high compared to after it made 8 new highs? It's a much higher probability it's going to stop making new highs after 8 than it is after 1. Now, do I know that for a fact? No. I know that just from watching the markets, but that's what I think. But I want to tell you the truth. I haven't done so much research on that that I know that I'm right, but I believe that's true. And also, it failed at a support level, R2. Not my favorite support. R3 is better to fail at. PP is better to fail at. VWAP better to fail at, I think. But I'm just giving you what I think, what helps me to determine whether or not I want to take a signal. On the RTY, these are harder signals to take because we just made a new low, right, on the open, and then it gave a signal. Now, there is a way you could have a very low risk trade if you wanted to take this RTY trade. And you have to have clarity of mind, right? Clarity of mind. You don't enter until you're above the VWAP. The VWAP is a very nice directional indicator, right? Meaning long above the VWAP, short below. Obviously, not always, but it's one thing people think about when they think VWAP. Long above, shorts below. So this RTY signal, if you enter above the VWAP, you can make it a pretty low risk trade
At
by
10 a.m.
putting your
Eastern Time,
stop,
expecting comments from
instead
Fed
of putting
Chairman
your
Potential
stop
Buyers
all the
before the
way
Senate Banking
below the
Committee on
low,
Bank
which is
Supervision.
just too much
Text and
risk.
Q&A is expected.
It's too big. It's too much of a risk because let's say you're getting in, right at the beginning of the trade, right at the beginning of the signal, which is not unreasonable to think you're getting in somewhere in this candle, right? You get a signal, wait for the VWAP is what you should do. And then if you want to put your stop below the low, that's 100 ticks of risk. It's too much for most people. That's a lot. That's, $500 per contract. That's a lot. But if you just put your stop 10 ticks or 15 ticks below the VWAP, or even you could use the pre-market open, right? The orange line, you have a much lower risk trade, and that's a way to think about it. All right. So I'm thinking most people should have made money on the open this morning. Did most people do okay this morning? It wasn't a monster morning, but there was some good opportunities on the open.
The US extends deadline for potential buyers of Lukoil International assets to April 1st.
All right. So I'm going to turn off. This was the YM was, I think that's my favorite signal of the morning. It's just a great one. New high after 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 new high. You get in and you go 100 ticks. Not a lot of pullback until you're about 90 ticks profitable. That's a nice trade. I'm going to get rid of my YM. I'm going to get rid of my RTY. So RTY had two nice signals. The first one, like I said, that was not so easy to take it. But look, you had 3 minutes of upward movement when that signal got generated after the opening sell-off. And you did have a way to reduce risk on the trade. On the second signal, the stop needs to be above the high on that one. And it worked beautifully. And what was the RTY? It was really consolidating for most of the morning that we were watching it. It really just consolidated until the open. So you didn't get a lot of help with the signal
The
direction
Philadelphia Semiconductor
pre-open.
Index falls 2.8%
Pre-open
following a
when
review
we
of
were here.
results.
We weren't here that long. Okay, so RTY is done. Take that out of here. And then the MNQ, that's a stop machine on those signals. I mean, you look at the price action. We got filled short on the open, and I just have to learn about our filtering to see if our filtering could have. Now, there is one simple form of filtering that would not have helped. Needing more bars would not have helped this morning because the bars were all showing upward momentum, but the price action was very choppy. So you had up and down, up and down, up and down with enough upward chop that it made a new low, then it changed direction off the low with an upward momentum bar. We don't need this. That was our RTY. Now the MNQ on the magnet.
Shares of US airlines gain as oil prices fall about 1.5%.
So the stall filter helps. We have a structural stall filter. It helped a lot. It got rid of half of those signals. So I have to do a lot of reading before our webinar. All right, so let's put our natural gas on. I need to change my market open MNQ trade. Not making enough on the winners. Just not making enough. The opens are tough because think about the RTY. The RTY makes nice money because the tick value is so much higher than the MNQ. The problem with the MNQ is the tick value. And when you have a loser, it's much bigger than a winner because our targets are not that big. Maybe NQ is the only answer on the opens. It's still pushing down. Now it's made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 10 lows. It's made a lot of lows. All right, everyone, thank you on YouTube. We're going to go to natural gas, and I'm going to close our stream this morning. So thanks, everyone, for watching on YouTube. We will stream again tomorrow morning. So I'll see you all tomorrow morning on YouTube. Thank you for joining us.